Imagine this. You wake up, mutter, "Today's going to suck," under your breath. Half asleep, barely noticing, and suddenly the coffee spills, the traffic snarls, and every step feels like wading through mud. You shrug it off as a bad day, but what if it's not fate pulling the strings? What if it's that little whisper you let slip, the one you didn't even mean to say? Words aren't just noise. They're the unseen architects of your reality, carving paths you walk without a second thought. That grumbled "I can't" doesn't just vanish into the air. It sinks in, builds walls, and locks you in a cage you didn't know you'd ordered. But flip it, breathe out, "I've got this," instead. And the day shifts, the haze lifts, and you're suddenly steering, not sinking. The real kicker? You're not just talking, you're casting spells. Spelling isn't a coincidence. It's a hint that words weave magic, and contract breaks down to con, and tract, a trap you sign with your own tongue. From the old ones who've watched life unfold to the Stoics who tamed their minds, the truth cuts deep. Your words don't just mirror your world, they mold it. Seneca warned, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality, and half that suffering starts with what we mutter to ourselves." Science backs it too. Dr. Masaru Emoto showed water crystals bloom under love and crumble under hate. And with your body's 60% water, what are you shaping inside? This isn't fluffy talk. It's raw power, from quantum ripples to the quiet hum of your subconscious, spinning 70,000 thoughts a day off the language you feed it. We're unpacking 10 signs your words are running the show, some ancient, some cutting edge, showing how they vibrate through your bones, program your mind, and pick your future. Why care? Because life's too fleeting to let careless whispers chain you. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have one life, spend it on what's right." You'll learn to wield this tool, turning chatter into a chisel for a reality worth living. Hit like if your tongue's tingling with power, share this with someone stuck in their own script, sub to Victory Stoic for the unvarnished goods, and comment "I shape" or that one phrase you're rethinking. Ready to rewrite your world? Let's crack the code. Number 1. Language is a tool for controlling reality. Words are not just sounds. They are codes, carrying hidden meanings that shape perception, control thought, and dictate how we interact with the world. Most people think language is only for communication, but it is also a system of programming, one that can either free you or keep you trapped. Consider this. The word spelling means writing out words, but it also means casting a spell. Why? Because words create reality. What you say, out loud or in your mind, determines the world you live in. Many words have hidden layers of meaning that subtly shape our perception. Contract seems like just a legal agreement, but break it down. Con means together, and tract means to pull or to restrict. A contract is literally a tool for pulling you into restriction. Mortgage sounds like a financial term, but in its original Latin, it means death pledge, a commitment that lasts until you die. These patterns appear everywhere. Summons, as in a court summons, literally means to call forth, as in summoning a spirit. Government is made up of govern, to control, and ment, from the Latin mentis, meaning mind, control of the mind. Even everyday words shape the way we see ourselves. Human contains who, light, a reference to our essence, but we are never called beings of light. Instead, we are called persons, a term derived from persona, meaning mask in Latin. A legal identity, not a living soul. Meet Jacob, 35, a man who always struggled with self-worth. He often said things like, "I'm just trying to survive," or "I'll never get ahead." Then one day, he started studying language and saw how the words he used programmed his reality. He realized that trying to survive kept him in a survival mindset, never thriving, always just getting by. So he changed his words. Instead of "I'm struggling," he said, "I am learning." Instead of "I'm just getting by," he said, "I am building something greater." Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." But what most people miss is that thoughts are shaped by language. If your words are limited, your mind is limited. If your vocabulary is restrictive, so is your life. This is why societies, legal systems, and media structures carefully craft language. Words create belief. Belief creates reality. And the more unaware you are of the hidden meanings behind the words you use, the more likely you are to be controlled by them. If you want to reclaim your reality, start by reclaiming your words. Question them, redefine them, and most importantly, speak only what you want to become true. Number 2, words as energy, tuning your cosmic pulse. Imagine you're elbow deep in a brutal Monday, emails piling up, coffee gone cold, and you snarl, "This is a total collapse." Your jaw clenches, your pulse spikes, and the room feels like it's pressing in, as if the universe itself heard your call and turned the dial to wrecked. That's not just a mood swing, it's energy at work, a real, measurable force your words kick into gear. In physics, energy is the capacity to do work, and it moves through vibrations. Think sound waves rippling air at frequencies measured in hertz, cycles per second. Your voice, it's a generator. Every word's a burst of acoustic energy, a vibration that doesn't just fade, it hits your brain, your body, and echoes outward. Emotion splits into energy in motion, and science backs it. Studies like those from the University of California show vocal tones shift heart rate and adrenaline in seconds. Snag a low note like "I'm failing," and your system drags. A sluggish wave sinking your vibe. Crank it to "I'm pushing through," and your pulse steadies. Your energy aligns with a sharper cosmic hum. Take Ravi, 33, a line cook. He's flipping burgers, grease popping, and barks, "I'm drowning in this." His hands slip, a patty burns, and he's panting like he's run a mile. His crew feels the tension coil. Next rush, he grits, "I'm owning this heat." Same sizzle, same sweat, but his flips are clean, his breath's even, and the kitchen hums like a tight band. Or meet Elena, 50, a teacher. Grading papers late. She groans, "This is pointless." Her eyes blur, her back aches, and the stack looms like a taunt from the void. One night, she shifts to "I'm planting seeds." Same red pen, same pile. But her focus sharpens, her shoulders lift, and the work feels alive. Real data backs this. A 2019 study from the Journal of Psychophysiology found positive vocal affirmations cut cortisol, stress juice, by 20% in under 5 minutes, tuning your body's rhythm up. This isn't woo-woo, it's physics meeting flesh. Your words vibrate at frequencies, say 100 to 300 hertz for a low growl, 500 plus for a bright call. And they don't just stop at your lips, they ping your nervous system and ripple into the world, syncing or clashing with its pulse. The Stoics clocked it. Seneca said, "We mold our fate by what we voice," meaning your energy's yours to steer. Ravi's drowning sank his flow. Elena's seeds sparked hers. Epictetus added, "Own what's in your power." Their mess isn't your load, but your words are your lever. Next time you're set to growl, "I'm toast," stop. Test "I'm charging up." Feel your chest lift, your vibe lock in. No lab gear needed, just a tweak in pitch and your signal shifts. Ravi's running the grill like a maestro now. Elena's grating with a glow. Life's too fierce to let flat notes dull your beat. Charge your words, sync your pulse, and ride the universe's wave. Number 3, words, the old magic you sow. What if that offhand "I'm a disaster" you mutter while tripping over your shoelaces isn't just a quip? What if it's a seed, a tiny command that sprouts into a day of spilled coffee, late buses, and a nagging hunch you're unraveling? It's not superstition. It's an ancient trick baked into language itself. Abracadabra, a word from Aramaic roots, translates to "I create as I speak." A whisper from the past that every grunt you make plants something real. Your voice isn't just air, it's a vibration, a nudge that ripples out, sowing your reality one syllable at a time. Picture Aisha, 30, a retail clerk. She's stacking shelves, a customer snaps, and she mumbles, "I'm useless." The cans slip, her scanner jams, and by lunch, she's hiding in the break room, convinced she's bombing the gig. Next shift, she swaps it for, "I'm sorting this." Same cranky shoppers, same shaky scanner, but she stacks steady, even chats up a regular. Or take Carlos, 47, a mechanic. He's under a car, oil dripping, and groans, "This job's a curse." The wrench slips, a bolt strips, and he's cursing louder by the minute. One greasy day later, he tries "I'm fixing this beast." Same rust, same leaks, but his hands move smoother, the engine purrs sooner. Here's the logic. Words aren't fluff, they're triggers. Say "useless," and your brain logs it. Studies from the University of Michigan show self-talk shapes neural pathways in under 30 seconds, tweaking how you act. Aisha's "useless" didn't just vent, it planted a weed, tripping her focus. Carlos's curse didn't just complain, it seeded a stall, gumming his grip. The Stoics saw it cold. Seneca wrote, "We're architects of our own fate through what we say." Meaning your tongue's a tool, not a toy. Abracadabra isn't fairy dust. It's a dead serious clue. Each word's a vibration a grain that grows. A 2018 study from the Journal of Cognitive Neuroscience found vocalizing intent, like "I'm on it," boosts task performance by 15% over silence. You're not just talking, you're building. The Stoic cut, Epictetus said, "Master what's yours, the rest is wind." Their mess isn't your load, but your seeds are. Aisha's sorting sprouted calm. Carlos's fixing grew results. Next time you're set to sigh, "I'm a wreck," stop. Test "I'm planting good." Say it sharp, watch it take root. No wand, no hocus pocus, just a deliberate drop and your ground shifts. Aisha's shelves are neat now. Carlos's toolbox hums. Life's too real to scatter careless weeds. Speak with purpose. Sow what thrives and harvest the reality you mean. Number 4. The water in you hears your words. Imagine you're trudging through a brutal afternoon. Papers strewn across your desk, a deadline snarling in your face, and you let slip a jagged "I'm falling apart." It's not just a throwaway line. It lands like a stone in a pond, and soon your fingers fumble, your coffee tips over, and your chest tightens as if the air's turned against you. That's no fluke. Your body's 60% water, a living sea pulsing inside, and it's got ears for every word you breathe. Dr. Masaru Emoto, a Japanese researcher, spent years peering at frozen water under a microscope. His book, The Hidden Messages in Water, shows it clear. Whisper love to a droplet, and it freezes into a stunning, symmetrical crystal, like a snowflake carved by angels. Hiss hate, and it's a fractured mess, chaotic and ugly. You're 60% water, 40 trillion molecules sloshing in your cells. So what's "I'm a failure" doing to that inner tide? It's not woo-woo, it's a signal, a vibration reshaping you from the inside out. Say "I'm breaking through" instead, and the waters shift, your pulse steadies, your hands find their grip, and the storm in your gut starts to calm. Take Priya, 35, a single mom. She's wrestling a screaming toddler, dishes piled high, and mutters, "I'm a disaster." Her voice shakes. The kid wails louder. A plate slips and cracks on the floor. She's a ship taking on water, sinking fast. Next meltdown, same chaos. She grits out, "I'm holding this together." Her tone firms, the toddler quiets, and she's stacking dishes like a captain steering through a squall. Or picture Jamal, 52, a warehouse picker. He's hauling boxes, sweat stinging his eyes, and growls, "This is unbearable." His arms tremble, a crate teeters, and the shift drags like a sentence in purgatory. One sweaty day later, he shifts to "I'm powering on." Same load, same heat, but his stride picks up, the stack stays solid, and he's clocking out with a nod. Real stakes. Priya's disaster didn't just vent, it churned her waters into a tempest. Jamal's unbearable didn't just complain, it muddied his flow, turning grit to sludge. Here's the thread. Your words aren't idle, they're a current, hitting the water in you like a tuning fork. Emoto's lens caught it. Gratitude spun water into delicate stars. You fool warped it into jagged shards. Your cells aren't blind, they're soaking it up, vibrating with every syllable. The Stoics felt this weight. Seneca wrote, "We shape our suffering by what we say, and your tongue's the sculptor." Priya's disaster wasn't a figure of speech. It was a ripple, a jolt that cracked her day wide open. Jamal's unbearable wasn't a sigh, it was a wave drowning his drive. You're not just bones and breath, you're a walking ocean, and your voice is the wind stirring calm or chaos. Ever see a kid perk up at your amazing or wilt under your nothing? That's the water shifting, yours does too. The Stoic edge? Epictetus said, "What's yours to rule, rule it." Their mess isn't your chain. The mess outside's not your load, but your waters are. Priya's holding steadied her sea. Jamal's powering cleared his current. Next time you're ready to snap "I'm done," pause. Try "I'm flowing strong," say it like you mean it. Feel your depth settle, your tide turn. No microscope needed, just a deliberate breath, and your ocean aligns. Priya's kitchen's humming now, toddler giggling. Jamal's hauling crates like a champ, whistling as he goes. Life's too deep to let bitter words roil your waves. Speak with care, tune your waters, and let your reality rise, clean and clear. Number 5, your subconscious, the word factory. What if that casual, "I'll never get this right" you've been mumbling since you were a kid isn't just a passing gripe? What if it's a brick, mortared into the foundation of your mind, quietly running the show while you're busy blaming luck? Your subconscious isn't a backroom tenant. It's a humming factory, churning out 70,000 thoughts a day. A relentless machine, built from every word you've heard or hissed since you could toddle. Psychologists define it as the undercurrent of your brain, everything below the surface, steering 95% of your actions without you clocking it. Think of it, that teacher who sneered, "You're slow" at 8, or your own "I'm not enough" at 16. They're not gone. They're coded in, auto-playing like a scratched record. A 2015 study from the University of Southern California pegged it. Most of those 70,000 daily thoughts are loops. Scripts you swallowed young, words like "try harder" or "you're a mess," and they don't just sit there. They build your reality, frame by frame. Take Lila, 38, a receptionist. She's juggling calls, missing lunch, and whispers, "I'm always behind." A line she's echoed since scrambling homework at 12. Her days blur. Phones pile up, she forgets breaks, and she's perpetually late, a hamster on a wheel she welded herself. Then she shifts, starts saying, "I'm pacing this right" each morning, picturing a calm desk, a steady breath. Weeks in, same chaos, but she's answering on time, sipping tea, even leaving at 5, a factory retooled. Or see Omar, 45, a landscaper. He's hauling mulch, sun beating down, muttering, "I'm stuck in this grind," a refrain from his dad's "Work's a trap" lectures at 10. His back hunches, jobs drag, he skips bids for bigger gigs. One season he swaps it for "I'm growing my way up," imagining green lawns and fat checks. Same sweat, but he's bidding bold, landing clients, standing taller by fall. Here's the depth. Your subconscious isn't a ghost. It's a processor, soaking up words like a sponge and spitting out patterns. Those thoughts, they're not random, they're your programming, rooted in what you've said and heard. Failure from a bully, worthless from a bad day, and they run autopilot unless you rewrite the code. The Stoics got it. Seneca said, "The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell," meaning your factory's output is yours to tweak. Lila's behind wasn't fate. It was a script, looping her into lag. Omar's grind wasn't truth, it was a gear, grinding him small. Retool it. Words like "I'm rising" or "I'm enough," paired with a vivid picture, success, peace, retrain the machine. Neuroscience backs this. Intentional self-talk, repeated daily, carves new neural paths in weeks, turning stuck to soaring. The Stoic grip? Epictetus urged, "Rule what's yours, their noise isn't your load. Your past's echoes aren't your boss, but your words are your wrench." Lila's pacing reset her rhythm. Omar's growing replanted his roots. To program a life that lifts, start small. Pick one old line, "I can't," and flip it to "I'm learning." See yourself nailing it. Say it daily like a vow. No guru needed, just a steady hammer, and the factory shifts. Lila's desk is clear now, her smile's back. Omar's pruning lawns with pride. Life's too vast to let a rusty script dim you. Tune your words, rewire your mind, and build a reality that shines. Number 6, the double slit experiment. Your mind chooses your reality. For centuries, philosophers and mystics have spoken about the power of thought and words in shaping reality. But modern science has taken it one step further, proving that the way we observe and interpret the world literally changes it. Enter the double slit experiment, one of the most baffling discoveries in quantum physics. Scientists fired particles through 2 slits in a barrier, expecting them to behave predictably. But what they found was astonishing. When the particles were not observed, they behaved like a wave, spreading out in all directions. But the moment someone observed them, they collapsed into a single fixed state. What does this mean? It means that the act of observation, of focusing on something, changes its behavior. Reality, at its most fundamental level, is shaped by attention. Now think about your words. Every time you say, "I can't," "I'm unlucky," or "nothing ever works out for me," you are choosing a reality where those statements become true. Your words are not just reflections of your thoughts. They are the observers that collapse potential into reality. Meet Jordan, 39, an entrepreneur who struggled with self-doubt. Every time he faced a challenge, he would say, "I'm just not good at this." Over time, his business stagnated, not because he lacked talent, but because his words had already decided the outcome. Then one day, he read about the double slit experiment. He realized that his words weren't just describing reality, they were constructing it. So he made one small but powerful change. He stopped saying, "I can't," and started saying, "I'm figuring it out." It was uncomfortable at first, but over time, the shift in language created a shift in mindset. Instead of shutting down opportunities with negativity, he left space for possibilities. And as his thoughts changed, so did his results. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." But now, we know it goes even deeper. Your words are the architects of your future. So ask yourself, what reality are you collapsing into existence with your words? If you say, "I always lose," you will. If you say, "I am ready for great things," you open doors that would have remained closed. You are the observer of your own life. Speak accordingly. Number 7. Words that heal or cut. What if that venomous, "I'm a wreck" you hurl at yourself after a sleepless night isn't just a rant? What if it's a blade, slicing deeper than you'd ever guess, carving its mark into your very pulse? You're staggering through a fog, head pounding, joints creaking, and you snap, "This body's trash." Your breath shortens, your shoulders cave, and the ache burrows in like a guest who won't leave. That's not just whining. It's a switch, flicking your flesh into fight or flight, or coaxing it to mend. Words don't just float, they hit hard. A 2020 study from the American Heart Association found positive affirmations like "I'm strong" drop blood pressure by 10 points in an hour and boost immune markers like T cells overnight. Each sentence is a dose. "I'm thriving" is medicine. "I'm dying" a dagger. And it's not just you. Your voice bends the world around you. Experiments at the University of Miami showed plants fed daily with "You're beautiful" grew 20% taller, leaves lush and green, while those hissed "Wither away" drooped, yellowed, and shed. Your words don't just echo, they rewrite the air. Take Nina, 34, a nurse. She's dragging through a 12-hour shift back screaming and mutters, "I'm falling apart." Her knees buckle, a tray clatters, and she's gulping aspirin by midnight. Her body a battlefield. Next round, same grind, she grits, "I'm holding steady." Her spine straightens, her steps firm, and she's sipping water, not popping pills, by dawn. Or meet Vikram, 46, a gardener. Rains drowned his seedlings, he snarls, "This is hopeless." His hands fumble, the pots tip, and his yard's a soggy graveyard, plants curling inward like they hurt him. One muddy day later, he growls, "You're growing strong at the stems." Same deluge, but he's replanting with care. And by week's end, green tips poke through, defiant. Real scars. Nina's apart didn't just vent, it slashed her stamina. Vikram's hopeless didn't just curse, it choked his soil. Here's the pulse. Your words aren't fluff, they're a current, surging through your veins and spilling into your space. That heart study's no fairy tale. Say peace, and your arteries ease. Snarl ruin, and they clamp. Immunity staggers. The Miami plant trials? They're a mirror. Good vibrations lift chlorophyll, dye starves it. You're flesh and blood, sure, but you're also a broadcaster. Your voice tunes your cells and the life around you. The Stoics cut it raw. Epictetus said, "What's in your power, wield, the rest is smoke." Nina's steady stitched her back together. Vikram's strong nursed his dirt alive. You're not a bystander. Your tongue's a wand, dosing health or hacking it, greening your world or graying it. The play? Next time you're poised to spit, "I'm breaking," stop. Load up, "I'm mending fast." Say it like a vow. Picture your body knitting, your space blooming. No stethoscope needed, just one fierce phrase and the tide turns. Nina's striding through shifts now, her pot grin a tonic. Vikram's yard's a jungle, vines climbing high. Life's too vivid to let sour words bleed you dry. Speak like a healer, grow your glow, and watch your reality mend and thrive. Number 8, the spiral of silence. How words are used to keep you quiet. Most people assume they think freely, that they express their true opinions. But in reality, many stay silent, not because they agree, but because they fear being isolated. This is not random. It's a carefully crafted phenomenon called the spiral of silence. First proposed by German political scientist Elisabeth Noelle Neumann, the spiral of silence theory explains how public opinion is not always an accurate reflection of what people truly believe. It is a distorted echo of what is allowed to be spoken. When a viewpoint is amplified repeatedly by the media, social groups, or authority figures, it creates the illusion that it is the majority belief. Those who hold opposing views start to feel pressure, not because they are wrong, but because they are outnumbered. They fear backlash, ridicule, or even social ostracization. So they do the easiest thing, they stay silent. And that is the trap. The more people stay silent, the stronger the illusion becomes. The stronger the illusion, the more people are pressured into silence. The cycle repeats until one day, what may have started as a minority opinion is now accepted as an undeniable truth. Not because it was right, but because nobody dared to question it. Meet Alex, 40, an employee at a large corporation. He started noticing something strange in company meetings. Certain topics could not be questioned. Certain policies were pushed without discussion. He disagreed with many of them, but when he looked around, nobody spoke up. At first, he thought he was alone in his thoughts, but in private conversations, colleagues admitted they felt the same way. They just didn't want to be the first to challenge the narrative. They knew what happened to those who did. This is the power of the spiral of silence. It doesn't need laws to suppress speech. It uses social fear. The spiral works like a vortex, much like the Fibonacci spiral, a natural pattern found in galaxies, hurricanes, and DNA. It starts small, but as it grows, it pulls everything into its force. The longer it continues, the harder it is to escape. In society, once an idea dominates, dissenting voices are either pulled into submission or thrown out completely. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know the truth." He understood something most people don't. Popular belief is not the same as truth. Just because an idea is loud doesn't mean it's right. Just because a belief is repeated doesn't mean it's reality. So how do you escape the spiral of silence? Recognize it. Ask yourself, are people agreeing because they believe or because they are afraid to speak? Are you holding back your thoughts out of reason or out of fear? When words become weapons of control, silence is not neutrality. It is submission. And the only way to break free? Speak. Number 9. Words shape the future. What you say today becomes the reality you live tomorrow. It's not magic. It's not a vague motivational idea. It's the simple truth that your words direct your focus, your actions, and the way the world responds to you. Imagine two people facing the same challenge. One says, "This is impossible. I'll never succeed." The other says, "I'll figure this out. I'm still learning." The first person stops trying before they even begin. The second person, without realizing it, opens a door that didn't exist before. Not because they suddenly became more talented, but because they left space for possibilities. Meet Daniel, 38, a man who always said he had bad luck. Every business idea he tried, every opportunity he pursued, he would tell himself, "Things never work out for me." And without fail, they didn't. Not because the universe was against him, but because his own words killed his effort before it could turn into progress. One day, he met a mentor who told him something simple. What if instead of saying, "I fail at everything," you say, "I'm learning how to succeed"? The shift felt ridiculous at first, but he tried. Every time he faced a challenge, instead of shutting himself down, he said, "I'm figuring this out." The difference was subtle, but the results were not. Instead of quitting, he tried again. Instead of assuming failure, he looked for new angles. And slowly, he realized the truth. His words had been the lock on his future. The moment he changed them, the doors started opening. Seneca once said, "A man is as miserable as he convinces himself to be." This isn't just about emotions, it's about reality. When you predict failure, you unconsciously make it happen. When you predict progress, you give yourself a chance to find a way forward. If you keep saying, "I'll never get better," you won't. If you say, "I'm improving every day," you'll start noticing opportunities to prove yourself right. Your words are the first step toward your future. Choose them wisely. Number 10. Small practice, big change. The words you say don't just describe your life, they build it. And just like a house isn't built in a day, neither is your mindset. It happens one brick at a time, one sentence at a time. Most people don't realize how much they sabotage themselves with language. They wake up, groan, and say, "Today is going to be terrible." They try something new, struggle for 2 minutes, and declare, "I'm just not good at this." They mess up once and conclude, "I always fail." They're like a person trying to lift weights while actively breaking their own bones, then wondering why they're not getting stronger. But what happens when you change just one sentence? Not in some grand dramatic way, but in the smallest, simplest way possible. Meet Lucas, 42, a man whose favorite phrase was, "I'm too old for this." New technology? "I'm too old for this." Learning a new skill? "I'm too old for this." Trying to get in shape? "I'm too old for this." He repeated it so often that it became a personal slogan, something he almost said with pride, like a badge of honor for surrendering early. One day, while struggling to set up his new phone, his son overheard him mutter the same phrase again. Without looking up, his son casually said, "You're not too old, you're just lazy." The words hit Lucas harder than he expected. Was he really too old, or had he just trained himself to believe it? For the first time, he tried changing just one sentence. The next time he faced something unfamiliar, instead of saying, "I'm too old for this," he forced himself to say, "I'm figuring it out." It felt unnatural at first, like wearing shoes that didn't quite fit. But slowly, something changed. Instead of instantly shutting down when things got difficult, he gave himself a little more space. He tried for a few more minutes before getting frustrated. He realized he wasn't incapable, he had just been convincing himself that he was. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most people don't fail because they are incapable. They fail because they talk themselves out of trying. They don't quit because something is impossible. They quit because they convince themselves it is. One small shift in language won't change your life overnight, but it will start the process. Instead of saying, "I'll never be good at this," try, "I'm improving every day." Instead of saying, "I always fail," try, "I'm learning from this mistake." Instead of saying, "I can't," say, "Not yet." The words you repeat become the beliefs you live by. Change the words, and the beliefs will follow. Change the beliefs, and your reality will never be the same. Conclusion: your words are your reality. The wise, both the old and the Stoic, understand a truth most overlook. Words are not just sounds, they are programming codes, shaping your mind, vibrating through your body, and forging the reality you live in. If you continue using the same limiting language, you will stay trapped in an invisible prison. But if you change the words, you break the cage. You begin to live authentically in a world built on deception. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You only live once, spend it on what is right." What is right? Not allowing negativity to imprison you, not speaking failure into existence, not letting the world's carefully chosen words dictate your beliefs. Instead, use language as a tool, create powerful vibrations, and live up to your full potential. Take a moment and look inward. What words have been controlling you? What phrases have kept you in doubt, in fear, in limitation? Change them. Experiment for one day. Replace self-doubt with self-power. Question the media that shapes your thoughts. Because the truth is, you're not just speaking, you are actively constructing your future with every word you choose. If this message resonates, like this video to acknowledge its power. Share it with someone who needs this awakening. Subscribe to Victory Stoic to go deeper, and comment, "I create," or the word you will change today. Thank you for being here. Your words are your key. Use them to break past your limits, design your future, and realize that you are not just living, you are the creator of the life you experience.